Well, hello there and welcome. Welcome to Talk Leadership with Cedrick. What everybody needs a little TLC. Tonight we're going to do something a little bit different, but I'm going to start with our uh, guiding leadership principle, and it's the law of contribution. And it says, growing yourself enables you to grow others. So you can't give what you don't have. So you must first grow yourself in order to grow others. And, on Talk Leadership with Cedrick, we're always talking to leaders, thought leaders, and people who are making a difference, impacting their neighborhood. Today, it's a little bit different. We're going to be talking about impacting our neighborhoods. My neighborhood was severely impacted over this last week. Hurricane Laura came through and really devastated my neighborhood, Lake Charles, Louisiana. So tonight, what I want to do is I want to talk with you about trying to make a difference, helping to make a difference in our community. And like I said, Hurricane Laura came through last week and really devastated the city of Lake Charles, Louisiana. And let me tell you what, folks, you may have seen pictures on the news or on social media, but it's nothing like being there in person. And when you see a beautiful city like Lake Charles was, and now you see power lines everywhere. Now you see trees on the ground everywhere. Now you see homes devastated everywhere. You see people, proudful people who are now living in the trunk of their, not in the trunk of their car, but in their cars. Now you see people who are spread out in other cities across Louisiana and in Texas because they can't live in their homes. And folks, let me tell you something. People are out of electricity, which you expect in a hurricane. A lot of times that's gonna happen for a little bit, but you don't expect that you're going to be out of water as well. And let me tell you what, folks, see, we can live and we can survive without electricity for some time, but it's hard to live. In fact, it's impossible to live for an extended period of time without water. And the folks in Lake Charles, Louisiana right now are hurting really bad. And as you know, well, most of you know that I was born and raised in Lake Charles, and it's hard to see my neighborhood like that. I've put, so I'm the president and co-founder of Lake Charles Education Collaboration, folks, and we are a 501c3, approved, certified, whatever you want to say, with the IRS. And we have a fundraiser that we're putting on where 100% of your donations will go to the people in Lake Charles, Louisiana. I'm going to say that again. 100% of your donations will go to the people in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Now, the company that is handling the donation, they're going to have an admin fee. We're going to pay that admin fee, but we're going to make that difference up. Whatever that fee is, we're going to pay that. But then 100% of your donations will go to the people in Lake Charles, Louisiana. So you'll see a link on your on the screen. You'll also see that link in the chat box where you can just click on that and you can go to Facebook and you can make a donation. No donation is too small. We're not a prideful people that we can't take a $1 donation. If that's all you have, we will take that donation. If you can give a bigger donation than that, we would definitely take that and use those funds to help the citizens of Lake Charles, Louisiana, folks. And let me tell you what, if you've never been without before, then this is the time for you to sit back and listen and understand. If you've been out before, you understand. If you've been through any type of storm, it doesn't have to be a hurricane. It could have been a tornado. It could have been some other event that caused you to have to live outside of your home in a safe environment with electricity and with running water and all the things that you need. If you've been without before, then you understand, you get it, folks. right? And if you've not been out before, just live a little bit longer and you'll understand. Now, folks, I want you to understand this. This is about helping someone else. People say it all the time. Let me know what I can do if I can help. Well, I'm coming directly to you and asking you to help in this fundraiser for the citizens of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Not one dime of this money will stay with the Lake Charles Education Collaboration. It will 100% go to the efforts in Lake Charles, Louisiana to help people that are in need. Okay, so now, let me say this as well. Helping people, helping someone get over an event, make it through an event is something that, as a human, we should all be ready to jump in and dive in. And people say all the time, Cedrick, if I ever can help you, let me know. Well, this is the time I'm coming to ask you for your help. And I want to say first, before I go even further, I want to say thank you to all the people who have donated so far. And we have people who have donated online and we have people who have donated offline. And I want to thank each person for their generous donation because it's going to help. It's needed right now. The time is now to galvanize, right? And you'll see a link on the screen to make it easier as well. In the chat, there's a link that you can click on so that you can go directly to that fundraiser. And again, this is for the Lake Charles Education Collaboration. 100% of your donations will go to efforts to rebuild my home city of Lake Charles, Louisiana. People are in desperate need of help right now. And as American citizens, I know you guys can come through and help us raise the funds that we're going to need to make it, to help the citizens of Lake Charles, Louisiana repair themselves, right? Now, look, everybody at some point in life goes through something devastating. At some point, everybody needs a little help. They need a helping hand. And I want you to know that this is the time right now for you to step up. If you say, hey, I love helping people. You say, I have a soft heart for people who are hurting. Well, now is the time that you can help. You can pour in. Again, if you have $1, if you have $2, if you have 50 cents, whatever you have will help. There's a link on the screen and there's a link in the chat box to take you to that fundraiser so that you can help the citizens of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Now, folks, people that know me know I don't come asking for a whole lot of stuff. I don't come asking really ever. I don't come asking people for things, right? I just try to do it myself. But this is one of those times, folks, that we need more people to jump in and to help us in this effort. And now is the time that you can help us be good citizens and help out the folks of Lake Charles, Louisiana. I know that the folks in Lake Charles, Louisiana have donated and helped people, other cities in situations. And so we're thankful that they did that. Now I'm asking you to let's help them. Let's give back to them. They're not coming here asking you for this. I'm living in Houston, Texas, but I'm coming to you asking you to let's join together and let's help. You know, the law of significance says one is too small a number to achieve greatness, right? This is why I'm coming to you to ask you to lend a helping hand to help another brother, another sister, another mother, another father, another cousin, another uncle, another grandmother who is living outside of their normal environment. And let me paint the picture for you, folks. When you see not one, not two, not three, but every power line on the street laying on the ground, And then you go to the next street and you see the exact same thing. And you go to the next street and you see the exact same thing. And you go to the next street and you see the exact same thing, folks. Wow. This is where the law of significance come in. This is where those people that say, hey, they want to help. I'm asking you right now for your help. The law of the big picture says the goal is more important than the role. It's not about me. It's not about one individual person in Lake Charles. It's about a collective. And it's about reaching this goal of trying to help the citizens of Lake Charles, Louisiana, overcome. Now, they're going to come through this, but we can help them get through this quicker, faster, sooner rather than later. I don't want one child having to sleep outside. I don't want one child having to go without. Right now, 97% of the school buildings in that district is damaged. So that means those students cannot go to school. It's our job to help relieve some of this. It's our job to help the citizens of Lake Charles, Louisiana, know that the rest of the United States has their back. So I'm asking you for a friendly donation. If I need to plead with you, I'm pleading with you for a friendly donation to help the citizens of Lake Charles, of Lake Charles, come through this, because the city is really hurting right now. And let me tell you what, folks, when you say that I'm a person that loves to help others, I have a soft heart. I thrive on helping other people. I have passion and compassion for others. Well, now is the time for your passion and your compassion to come out and give a donation. Now, you may not have a lot, and that's okay. We will take whatever you have to give in a donation. Trust me, every cent of it will be used up for the citizens of Lake Charles, Louisiana. You know, the law of the chain says the strength of the team is impacted by his weakest link. Right now, our weakest link is in Lake Charles, Louisiana, because everything that they know as normal life is not normal right now. Everything that they know is in mass chaos right now. They don't know when full power will be restored, because all the power lines are down. They have no idea right now of when water will be restored to the houses in Lake Charles. Think about that. You didn't have electricity. You didn't have running water. What would you do? And your roof is caved in. What would you do? Wouldn't you want someone to come and help you? Wouldn't you take any donation? Absolutely. And that's what I'm asking from you this evening. There's a donation link on the screen, and it's also in the chat, so you can click on that link. I'll be posting it several times over the next couple of weeks on my Facebook page, and every day on my Facebook page, so that you can see it, so that you can lend a helping hand. This is the time to galvanize as a team. You know, winning teams have players who make things happen. You can be that person to help make things happen. Don't just sit on the sideline right now and come later and say, man, if I could help. You can help right now. Right now. Just click on the link and make a donation. No donation is too small. Obviously, the more generous you can be, we would definitely love it, and we definitely would appreciate it. And I know that the citizens of Lake Charles, Louisiana, I know that my home city would appreciate any donation that you can provide in this hour, at this time. Folks, let me tell you something. If you drive up to your house and all you see are the four walls of your house, four walls, but there's no roof. Now, you know you can't live in that environment, right? You know that you need help, right? That's what the citizens of Lake Charles, Louisiana need right now. So I'm asking you, whoever in your family, your friends, share this link with your family and your friends, right? There's going to be somebody that goes without today in Lake Charles because they don't have the funds. There's going to be somebody, man, woman, child, grandmother, grandfather, uncle, aunt, that's going to go without because of the situation. Now, this is not anyone's fault. It's just an act of nature and an act of God. So we can't blame it on this person or that person or anything like that. And we're not trying to place blame. We just know that they need a hand to help them up right now. We just know that it just takes one or two people to make a difference. And if you want to be a person making a difference at a time when it makes a difference with people that it makes a difference, right now is the time to make that difference. Right now, I want you to look at me in the screen, and I want you to understand that I don't come here asking you idly, because as my audience, I appreciate you, but I don't come here every week asking you to do this or to do that. I'm asking you at this time to reach in your pocket, to search your heart, and click on that link and make a donation. Help the folks in Lake Charles, Louisiana. The Lake Charles Education, for those who are just joining us, is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. And 100% of your donations will go to the citizens of Lake Charles, Louisiana. I'm going to say that again so that you're understanding, so that you're clear. 100% of your money, of your donations, will go to the citizens of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Okay. You may say, well, what about the admin fees? Yes. The organization that runs the donation platform on Facebook, yes, they have an admin fee, but don't worry about that because we're going to cover that admin fee so that 100% of your donation goes to the citizens of Lake Charles, Louisiana. We want to make sure that the money is used for the people who are hurting, not to pay some admin fee. So we're going to cover that, whatever that is. We just need your help right now. You know, teammates, it's like if you're on a sports team, teammates must be able to count on each other when it counts. And right now, you are our teammates, and we are needing your support to help us help the citizens of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Here it is, folks. If you're a math person, if you need something, let me tell you, folks, here it is. It's character plus comprehension plus commitment plus consistency plus cohesion equals accountability, folks. And let me tell you what, right now, the citizens of Lake Charles, Louisiana needs your help. You see, if you've never been without, you don't understand. But let me help you understand. See, if you drive up to your house and it's not there, you left this morning and you came back and you see it's not there, folks, you know you're going to need a helping hand. If you left your house and you had running water and you had electricity and you had all the things in place in your house, and when you came back, you know that you don't have running water and you don't have electricity and your roof is gone and everything that you had is destroyed by water or just things falling on it to damage it and break it, then you know you need a helping hand. And that's what the folks in Lake Charles, Louisiana needs. So there's a link on the screen and there's a link in the chat. And you can click on that link and you can be a part of history to help the folks in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Or you could click on that link and then decide to sit on the sideline. Now, I would hope, I would pray that you don't sit on the sideline. Don't you say, well, that's not my issue. Those are not my people. People are people, folks. And let me tell you what, whether you give $1 or you give $1 million, people are people and they could use your help. Don't sit on the sideline right now and then say later, man, I should have. Okay? It's just that simple. Now, folks, I'm going to transition for a second, and I just want to make sure you understand before I transition. I want you to understand I appreciate anything that you give, and I've said it before, but I'm gonna say it again. Every person that gave a donation, I sent them a personal message back saying thank you. And I've had people that have donated online, and I have people that have made some generous donations offline. And I appreciate every single donation, and I can tell you the citizens of Lake Charles will appreciate every single donation as well. So I just have to say that. Click on the link and you can make a difference. Just click on the link and you can make a difference. So we're going to transition right now. I'm going to bring on a gentleman that we're going to talk to tonight. Just give me a second here. Let me transition. All right, hold on. Well, hello, Damian. How you doing?
Hey, Cedrick. I'm well, my friend. How are you?
I'm always doing great.
Cedrick, I got to tell you, man, I really, really love your heart, brother. The work that you are doing to help, the people of Lake Charles, man, that my heart goes out to you, and I'm definitely making a contribution today. Thank you. We need more people like you, individuals that have a heart to make a difference, because you're right. When people are hurting, they are hurting. And if you've ever been in a situation where you've been without, I've been through a hurricane before in Jamaica and had no lights or running water for 3 months. It is not easy to rebuild from that. And so sometimes people need someone to come and help them. And so I'm so moved by just the generosity for you to get out front as an individual to do this is just it's just incredible. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Well, when your people are hurting, and I was born and raised in Lake Charles, and it's hard to see not only just relatives, but people that I know. The city that I grew up in, is hard to see it the way it is and not do something. So I'm asking everyone to please do something. So, folks, we have Mr. Damian Johnson on the show tonight. I always like to do a proper introduction of our guests. And so let me do that with Damian as well. Damian Johnson is a founder and owner of Mandeville Ingleside LLC. It's a leadership and human potential development company. He started his career in the investment banking area and the finance industry, and he gained more experience, leadership experience, and great success in sales while working within the mortgage world. Damian is an avid learner and a commensurate connector, and he's always seeking challenges to maximize his true leadership potential. While seeking a more personalized growth plan, Damian joined the John Maxwell team in 2011. Presently, Damian is an executive director with the John Maxwell team and serves as a committee chair on the President's Advisory Council, and is also a peer mentor. Through Mandeville Ingleside LLC, Damian and his wife Kendra offer mentoring, leadership development, team building, and professional training to organizational leaders and teams, sales professionals, and business owners who are lacking individualized support. Damian is passionate about helping individuals and find their purpose and understand their why. And he has trained leaders across the nation in places like Costa Rica, Liberia, of course, the United States. He is also a proud graduate of Morehouse College and holds a Bachelor's of Arts degree in Business Administration. Damian is a native of Mandeville, Jamaica, and now lives in Charlotte, North Carolina with his wife, 2 daughters, and his new son. No, he have 2 sons, but he has 1 new son.
And now 1 grandson.
And now 1 grandson, yes.
Cedrick, thank you for having me, my friend. So glad to be here.
Sure, absolutely, absolutely. So, Damian, let's just dive right in here. So, tell our audience about your career. I read your bio, but tell our audience, shape for our audience your career path and how did you get started and how did you get to where you are today?
So, Cedrick, the way that I got to where I am today, my story really begins I think, when my parents divorced. They had a pretty ugly divorce, and mom took the kids and came to America. And when we got to America, we hit on some really tough times. Single mom raising 3 kids, and we had some difficult times. And out of that difficult time, I developed this sort of this feeling of being socially marginalized, because we grew up very privileged in Jamaica. I went to private school, and then to come to America and then to end up in poverty was a shock to me, right? And so when I left New York to go to Morehouse College, I had one thing on my mind, which was to make money. And so I did a business degree in finance. I had the privilege of receiving a scholarship studying overseas in England. And then when I came back, I just wanted to learn how money worked, and so I focused on investment banking. But the thing that is really, in some ways, a sad part of my story is that all the time I knew that I didn't want to work in corporate America. I knew I wasn't really built for that. I knew it wasn't an armor that was going to fit me, but I did it because I didn't want to be poor anymore. All my life, I've always been passionate about the ability to use the power of the spoken word to move people's hearts and to move their minds. But I didn't honor that calling because of the stain of experiencing poverty. And so I focused on investment banking. And I when I graduated from Morehouse, I went to investment banking and I made great money, but I hated the job. And you can only do something that you don't like for so long. And the thing is, when you don't have money, you just feel like, if you just get more money, that's going to be the solution. But when you get enough money to where you're not worried about, the bills the next month or the month after that, and you still have that gnawing dissatisfaction, then you realize that you're not in purpose. And for me, I knew I had a good job, was making a good money, but inside it felt like my soul was dying because I wasn't where I needed to be. And so that's what led me on the path to personal growth. That's what caused me to really start tapping into discovering what my gifts were. And I understood very quickly that I had always had the ability to use words well. And so for me, I discovered that really through my pastor's encouragement, and I started to pursue it. And that's how I found the John Maxwell team, which really set me on the trajectory toward adding value to people, towards speaking, towards coaching, and to really be using my gifts, my calling, to be an agent of change in other people's lives. And I'm so glad that today I get to use my gifts and to be fully activated in my purpose, using my potential to be able to serve people at the highest level, to push them towards their why and to discovering their purpose and taking action to move towards it.
Wow. Well, that is a powerful set of statements, not just one statement, but a set of statements to help people, like you said, act in their gifts and help move people and motivate, and not even motivate, inspire them. In fact, John Maxwell himself was talking about the difference between motivating and inspiring today, right? Motivating, he said, was pushing people, and motivating, inspiring is pulling people, pulling it out of them. And that's what you're saying. Absolutely love that, brother. So, hey, tell me, and you kind of hit on it a little bit, but I want to dive a little bit deeper in it. So why do you think adding value to other people is so important to you?
Because, Cedrick, I think it really comes from a place of to whom much is given, much is expected. I believe that. And when you have gotten to a place where you have enough for yourself, there's a duty to be able to give to other people. And I really believe that the way that you gain influence with people is by adding value. If you really think about all of the people in your life right now that have influence with you, people that when they speak, you listen to them. Why is it that you listen to those people specifically? 9 times out of 10, it's because they've made a deposit in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And when people make deposits in your life, and those deposits produce roots, and then you're able to grow fruit from the roots that the seeds that they planted that grew roots, and now you're producing fruit. You listen when they speak. And so adding value is necessary because people always want to know that you care. They don't care about what you know until they know how much you care. And when you care about people, you want to leave them better than you found them. And so you always are looking for a way to be able to deposit. Sometimes it's an encouraging word. Sometimes it's a challenge. Sometimes it's calling them out of their limiting beliefs and not allowing them to play small. And that's one of the things that I'm really, really good at doing, is helping people go beyond their limiting beliefs, because so many of us, because of our past, maybe because of trauma, maybe because of people who had influence with us, spoke words of discouragement to us, we play smaller than our potential really should do. And so for me, I really believe that part of my life's work and my life's purpose is to help people see themselves in the bigger version of themselves. And so I'm always looking for a way to encourage people and to really leave a little deposit somewhere along the way, to make them bigger, make them feel smarter, to make them see more value in themselves.
Awesome. Well, those little deposits, like you said, makes it's just like investing. It compounds, right? It makes a huge impact ultimately. So that's awesome. So Mandeville, Ingleside.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that it's named after your home city.
Yeah.
And what made you decide to do that?
Well, so Cedrick, if you were to go to Jamaica and ask anybody about Mandeville, they're going to tell you that Mandeville is nice. First of all, it is not by the beach. It's completely landlocked. It's in the hills. It's in the cockpit country in Jamaica. So the cockpit country is a mountainous area, and Mandeville is beautiful. It's at a higher elevation than most of the country, and so you always get a cool breeze. And so I like the reason I named my company Mandeville Ingleside is Ingleside is the neighborhood, the suburb that I grew up in Jamaica. And so I named it that because Mandeville is a gem. It's a little jewel inside of Jamaica. And Ingleside is a jewel inside of Mandeville. And so I like to believe that my company is a hidden gem, that when you find me and you find my company, you found something special and something valuable and something that is going to be a treasure in your life. And so that's why I named my company Mandeville Ingleside, is because when I come to you, I'm going to give you the best service, I'm going to give you the best quality, I'm going to add the most value. And my goal is to ensure that any client that I touch, I leave them marked for better, marked for a greater level. And so for me, that's why I named my company Mandeville Ingleside, is because I really believe that we're bringing tremendous value, and in a special and an anointed kind of way.
Well, that is awesome, brother. Love for your city. That's just phenomenal. So we've all just about every business has been impacted by this current coronavirus crisis, right?
Mm-hmm.
But businesses have been impacted in the world with all the other things that are going on, the George Floyd situations, people who are not sensitive and don't understand the plight of being a Black man in America, right? So how has your business been impacted during this current crisis?
So my business absolutely was impacted, initially negatively, because I think I was traveling maybe about 55-60% of the time doing in-person training and in-person team building inside of organizations. And so obviously when coronavirus hit, that dried up because we were not allowed to travel. But one of the things that's really important in the world of entrepreneurship is that you've got to be able to understand that every time that there is a crisis, at the same time, there are opportunities created from that crisis, but you've got to be flexible enough to make the pivot. And so that's what I did. I made the pivot. And so whereas I was doing a lot of training in person, I shifted my business to start to do training online. And you know what? I'm almost shocked that it took me so long to make that pivot, because I have found it to be the best pivot that I can make. Because first of all, I'm in my home, I'm still working, I'm still getting contracts, and I'm still serving people. And what's interesting is that the coronavirus has forced almost everyone to embrace some sort of virtual technology. And so most of what I do via Zoom. And so I'm still engaging with my clients, and now my business has gone global because there are no geographic restrictions, which is what you would have if you were in a business where you were doing physical travel. So now I've got clients from all over the world, much more so than what I would have had coronavirus not hit. And so for me, it did take a down tick, and then now it sprung back up because I was able to make the pivot to take advantage of the fact that social distancing has created a craving in people for connection, because we can't be together. So people are now connecting still, but they're needing to connect online. And so I made the pivot, and it's been gravy and potatoes since.
Gravy and potatoes, huh? Okay. Sorry, folks. It just kind of caught me. So what would you say to someone who's thinking of becoming an entrepreneur, but they're thinking, "Oh my God, in this time right now, I don't know if I can do it." They're thinking, "I don't know if I have what it takes. I know what I want to do, and I know that my niche is there, but I don't know." What would you say to those people?
Well, the first thing I would say is that how will you know unless you try? You never know if something's going to work unless you give it a shot. And what I can tell you from my own entrepreneurial journey, and you know, Cedrick, I do a lot of reading. When you read biographies of successful people, what you will see is failure, 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 more failure, and then success. And so you will fail your way to success a whole lot faster than you will think your way into success. So what I would say is, you're going to have to, if you want a different result, you've got to do something different. And so if you've got an idea, if you've identified a need in the market, if you think you can fill that need and you spotted an opportunity, then just get out and give it a shot. Because I guarantee you, once you take that step, you're going to learn some things. And it may not be that the first thing that you try is going to work, but you're going to learn what doesn't work, and then you'll be able to make an adjustment from that. So success is not a destination. It is a journey. And failure is almost a necessary step in that journey. Failure is not a destination. It's a stop on the journey. So what I would say is that if you have a desire, if you got a business idea, put it into action and do it now. And yes, you will be afraid. I know you might not have all of the resources. You might not have the support. You might have people that love you that are discouraging you, but you've got to be true to who you are. And sometimes, Cedrick, what I've discovered is that we really have to learn to trust our gut. All of us have an intuition about a thing, and we can't expect other people to be able to see our dream. But if you've got that burning desire inside you, you owe it to yourself. And you owe it to yourself to give it a shot, because sometimes when you've been given a dream, that dream isn't really just about you. It's about all the people that you can't see right now, whose lives are going to be impacted for the good, for the better, because you said yes. Because once you say yes and you step forward, there's a saying that once a person becomes definitely committed, then providence moves too. And so there are opportunities that will show up once you show up. So what I would say is, take the first step. You don't have to know you don't have to have turn by turn directions, but you at least need to get in the car and start the journey. So if you got an idea, give it a shot. Get guidance, test the idea, but get started sooner than you might think you should.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. So for Mandeville Ingleside, who's your ideal client? Who's that person who would benefit the most from your product or service?
That's a great question, Cedrick. So I like to work with successful entrepreneurs. I like to work with professionals, and in the personal. So there's a couple of angles to my business, right? One piece of my business, I work with individuals, and I work with individuals that they know that they've got something inside of them, but they may feel a little bit stuck. So they could be very successful, earn a great income, but they just know that they're just not in that place where they feel fully activated. And so for those type of people, I serve as an accountability coach, and I push people. I challenge their limiting beliefs, and I cause them to play a bigger game. And then so that's the personal coaching side of my business. The other aspect of my business is where I work with small to medium sized companies, and I do leadership training, and I do a lot of team building. I love team building. I love to bring people together and reduce conflict and increase collaboration and get teams becoming better teams, and I help leaders become better leaders. And so those are the ideal clients. So for me, the ideal client is a small to medium-sized company, and then individuals that are highly successful in their business, but they're unfulfilled and unsatisfied, and they know that there's more that they have to give, but they haven't quite tapped into that why, and they haven't really discovered their purpose, or maybe they've discovered it, but something's blocking them. And so I work with them on a one-to-one basis and some group accountability programs to help them get unstuck and hold them accountable for actually taking the action necessary to bring their dream to life.
Well, awesome. So here, folks, here's what he's saying. He says that, look, if you're stuck, maybe you're not even stuck. You just are not moving, right? Sometimes we just don't move because we don't want to move. It's not because something's in the way and making us stuck. No, it's just we're just not moving. He's saying if you need an accountability partner, call Mandeville Ingleside. He says if you're a business owner or a business leader, and you just want to kick it up just an extra notch, 5% more, he says, call Mandeville Ingleside. He can help you. And the other thing is, he said, look, if you need one-on-one, he got you. If you want to do it in a group where you get the collective minds of other people, he has you. Give him a call, Mandeville Ingleside. So, the law of curiosity states growth is stimulated by asking why. So in other words, ask more questions, right? As a leadership coach, how do you come up with great questions to ask people?
Well, first off, I think, Cedrick, the questions, when you're coaching people, you approach them from the standpoint that they're already whole and complete individuals. They may just lack the awareness to export that which they know into real results. And so the questions that you ask as a coach and how you come up with those questions starts by you listening. It starts by listening. So when I approach an individual that I'm coaching, I'm not coming with my agenda. My agenda is their agenda, and I'm listening to what they're saying, and I'm listening to what they're not saying. I like to call it listening in between the lines. And I'm paying attention to the context clues that they give me. I'm paying attention to the subtle expressions on their face, the shift in their posture. I'm paying attention to everything. And then I'm asking them the questions that come to my awareness. So I allow my intuition to guide my curiosity. And then I ask those questions that come to my awareness in the moment. So it's not a pre-scripted thing. It's a let me sit down and let me listen into you and what you're saying and how you're saying it, and then digging into the reason behind the reason. Because what you find sometimes is that when you ask a question, the answer that the person gives isn't necessarily the truth. It might be a fact, but it may not necessarily be the truth, right? Mm-hmm. Facts change, but truth is eternal. And so for me, I'm always digging and pushing people to get to the truth of the issue that they're dealing with. Sometimes it's a limiting belief. Sometimes it's an issue from childhood. And you never know unless you're paying keen attention to really hear what a person is saying. But more importantly, it's really the art of hearing what a person's not saying. Does that make sense?
Oh, it totally makes sense, folks. I'm gonna break it down for you. You know, the brother went deep on you, but let me break it down for you, okay? All right, because you know I'm from Louisiana, so we got to take it a little bit slow. So let me break it down for you. What he's saying is, folks, you remember on Sanford and Son, you know, you had the cop that one guy he would say, oh, "What are they saying?" I'm the guy that's gonna help you see what they're saying. What he's saying is, he's saying he's taking a banana and he's peeling it back a little bit, right? Now you got the fruit on the inside. He's saying he's taking an onion and he's peeling it back a little bit, right? Peeling back the onion, helping you go deeper. He said, you may say one thing, but that may not be really it. He's going to help take you deeper. When you go deeper on yourself, you know what you come to realize? Your passion, your purpose, your why, your dreams and aspirations start coming out. That's what he's saying at the Mandeville Ingleside that they can do for you, your organization. So reach out to him. So, you know, sometimes, Damian, you know, you may have one of those down days, right? What do you do to pick yourself up?
That's a great question, Cedric. I'm so glad you asked, because we all go through days where we're not on the mountaintop, right? But what I do is I have a collections of things that I find nourish my soul. So for me, I love music, and I grew up with reggae music. Reggae is my first music. And so if I'm having a down day, one of my favorite songs to play is a Bob Marley song called Jamming. So I'll play some music, and I'll get out here, and I'll close my office door, and I'll just jam out, right? There's books that I read. Some of the books that inspire me. One of the books that I love to read is Og Mandino's The Greatest Salesperson in the World. That book is incredibly inspiring. There's another book by Andy Andrews that's called The Traveler's Gift. If you've not read that book is awesome in terms of inspiring you. There's another book that's called Rhinoceros Success that will help you charge into life and take action. So you've got to have at your fingertips things that motivate you. I also keep a collection of quotes that inspire me, so that when my thinking is off, you know, sometimes you wake up and maybe you didn't get enough sleep, you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, or your thinking is off. I have things that bring me back to center. And then I have people, Cedric, I have people that bring me back to center. So there are certain people that I have that are programmed in my phone that when I know that I'm not sure if I'm looking at things the right way, if my thinking is on, they're my sounding boards. They're my inner circle. I can call and say, hey, I'm thinking through some things, and I just need to bounce some things off of you. They help me get right. And then if I'm not right in my thinking, they call me to the carpet. I have people in my life, Cedric, that I've given permission to speak truth to me. And let me just say this for our viewers. You're in a dangerous place when nobody can check you. You're in a bad place if there's nobody that you have in your life that you've empowered enough to tell you the truth. What you don't want to do is live life like the emperor with no clothes. That is the wrong way to live, because we all can be trapped and prisoners in our own thinking. Sometimes we need people to shine a light and say, hey, you know what? You're off right now. You need to check yourself. You need to slow your roll, pump your brakes. So I have people, I have books, I have quotes, and I have music that bring me back to center when I'm out of alignment.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. And you need those people in your life to help you, and people who are not afraid to say, hey, man, check yourself and you know, like you said, slow your roll. But that is awesome. Well, you know, my next question really, it's almost like you're reading my script here. The law of environment says growth thrives in conducive environments, right? So give our audience 2 or 3 things that can help you grow and develop. I know you mentioned some books. I want you to say the name of the books again, but give our audience 2 or 3 things that they can do to help themselves or help their teams grow and develop.
So I think, first of all, I love that you said that, because it takes a growth environment for growth to happen. One of the best ways that you can start to grow is to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you, people that are ahead of you, people, when you look at their life, they have the results that you would like to have in your own life. And so I think that getting mentors, And a mentor doesn't have to be someone that's like 70 years old. You can have peers that are ahead of you. You can have mentors in certain areas of my life. There's some people that I look to because financially they're ahead of me. There's some people that I look to because from a leadership standpoint, they're ahead of me. There's some people that I look to because entrepreneurially, they're playing a bigger game. I want to be around people that when I come into their presence, it makes me feel small. Not that they make me feel small, but the magnitude of their accomplishments dwarfs mine. And that makes me humble enough to sit at their feet and to learn. So that's one thing, right? The other thing is that you want to be in a place where other people are growing. So you want to make sure that you want to pick a good look at your inner circle, the people that are closest to you. I forget what book I read that it says that in 5 years your results will be determined largely by the books that you read and the people that you surround yourself by. So if you surround yourself with poor people, Cedrick, guess what you pick up? You pick up a poverty mentality. You pick up scarcity thinking. You pick up limited beliefs, right? When you surround yourself with people that have an abundance mindset, the reverse happens. So you got to start looking at the people that are closest to you and the results that they have. And if they're not going to a place where you want to go, then you may have to start to expand your inner circle. I'm a very loyal person, so I don't believe in just disconnecting from people, especially people that have been good for me. But I also leave space to welcome new relationships if I believe that they can expand me. So those are a couple of things. Now to go back to the books, there is the Og Mandino book, The Greatest Salesperson in the World. That's a fantastic book. Andy Andrews, The Traveler's Gift. That's another one. And then Rhinoceros Success is a fantastic book as well. So I'd recommend those three books. Now I could give you a lot more book recommendations than that, but for me, those are books that I find myself reading and rereading over and over again. And then from a financial standpoint, I would recommend Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. That book was the book that started me on the trajectory of real estate investing and multiple streams of income and looking at assets and liabilities differently than what I've been educated to.
Well, awesome. So if you could change one thing, now I know you want to change a whole lot of things, but there's only one thing. If you could change just one thing in the world, what would it be and why?
That's a really good question, Cedrick. I think based on the climate that we're in right now, particularly here in America, if I could change one thing, it would be for people to see people who are different than them as equal. There's no reason why Black men are getting killed in the streets in broad daylight. We're people too. If you cut my veins, red blood is going to run out. And no matter what background, what ethnicity you have, if I cut you, blood is going to run out too. We're all people. And we want the same thing. Most people want to be able to raise their family. They want to have opportunities to climb the ladder of success. We all at core want the same thing. We're human beings. And if I could change one thing, if I had one wish, it would be for the world to be a level playing field where people of different backgrounds would treat each other as a fellow human being, not based on the color of their skin, but on the content of their character.
Wow. And I love that. I'm going to sum up that with one word, and that word is equality.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So here, let's do this. We've been talking on some serious stuff. I started the hour talking about Lake Charles, Louisiana. I'm going to get back to that just a little bit because we need your help with a donation to Lake Charles, Louisiana. And then we started talking about with Damian Johnson and Mandeville Ingleside. Now, quick round of would you rather? Mm-hmm. All right. So you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. So would you rather have $1 million in Amazon gift cards or $100,000 in real money?
$100,000 in real money.
100,000 in real money. All right. So would you rather have free gas for 25 years or have a dream car?
Free gas for 25 years.
All right. Would you rather pick the year that you die or pick the way that you die?
The way.
All right, now we're going to really test you here. All right. Would you rather have free Apple products forever or have free Wi-Fi wherever you go?
I'll take the free Apple products. I'm not an Apple user, but I'll take the free Apple products.
And folks, that's all right. You know, he's not an Apple user, but you know, we'll forgive him for that. All right. Okay. All right. So now, if someone wanted to follow up with you, Damian, how could they do that, and where can they find you?
So on social media, you can find me on Facebook. It's Damian Johnson. You can search for me. I am Damian Johnson. On YouTube, it's I am Damian Johnson. On Twitter, it's I am Damian Johnson. And so on all social media platforms, it's I am Damian Johnson. And but I tend to hang out on Facebook for the most part. So you can go to my page, Damian Johnson. You'll see me in my pink jacket. I'm not wearing it tonight, but I love color, so you'll find me there. And by the way, Cedrick, just so that you know, since you had mentioned my programs, I have just opened up enrollment for my next accountability program. It's called Capture Your Focus. It's a 90-day sprint. It's a 90-day of dialing in your focus where you're going to work hard and accomplish your big goals to finish 2020 on a bang. What I've discovered is that with the coronavirus and then the subsequent social unrest with the murder of George Floyd and then the protesting, what I've seen is that a lot of people have become increasingly distracted. And most people can't even remember right now the goals that they set on December 31st, 2019. Most of us came into 2020 with high hopes and big expectations, and we said 2020 vision. And more times than not, when I ask people, where are you as it relates to your goals that you set at the beginning of the year? Are you on track? And they're not. And anytime you find a person is not accomplishing their goals, one thing is true. You can always trace it back to broken focus. When an athlete doesn't live into his potential, it's broken focus. When a person doesn't maximize their gift, is usually broken focus. And so one of the things that I do is in this accountability program, I do teaching, I do weekly accountability check-ins. I cause people to dial into their goals and to show up and to be accountable for their results or their lack thereof. And I do it in a supportive group environment. So I have registration that's open for that program right now. And I've still got a few spots left. And so if anyone out there is listening and you know that you just haven't moved the needle the way that you would want to, if you know that this year you're in a place where you're almost throwing in the towel on 2020 and saying, you know, I just can't wait for 2021 to get here. What I'm calling you to do is to wake up. In my program, I'm calling you to not buy into the lie, to not buy into the self-doubt, to not accept the limiting beliefs, and to not give yourself an alibi to not try. And so I have registration open for that program. And if you're out there listening and you know that you're not moving fast enough, you're not going far enough, and you need to be in an environment where people are moving and thriving and kicking butt and taking names and crushing their goals, then come join me. I'd love to have you. Look, tomorrow is September 1st. We've got 3 months left. And you would be surprised that if you were just to dial in your focus for the next 3 months, what you could accomplish. And if that's you and you know you've got some goals and some dreams and some aspirations, but you just can't find that inner drive, you're lacking that impetus to take action, then I'd love to coach you. I'd love to join you. I'd love to walk beside you and pour into your life and to push you and to challenge you and to help you break the incorrect paradigms and the limiting beliefs that are holding you stuck in status quo. We don't believe in status quo. I don't make agreement with limitations. I make agreement with possibilities. And the Capture Your Focus program, if that's you, if any of those things that I've said, if you find yourself in any of those categories, I'd love to have you. I'd love to serve you. I'd love to be your coach.
Well, that is definitely awesome. So one last question for you. If there was a book written about you, what would the title be and what would be said on the back of the book, on the back in the book summary?
So if there was a book written about me, the book would be titled Breakout. And on the book summary, it would say, this book contains principles that help you unlock your potential, take the foot off the brakes, and mash the accelerator to live your best life and live it now.
Wow. That is an awesome close to the show. That's awesome. I appreciate that. So, folks, tonight you've been listening to Damian Johnson with Mandeville Ingleside, and he said, hey, you can find him. All you have to do is go to any social media platform, just type in, I am Damian Johnson. Ask your neighbor, who is Damian Johnson? I am Damian Johnson. I am Damian Johnson, right? And you can find him. Right. He said he's mainly found on Facebook, but he's on other social media platforms. Folks, go and check out Mandeville Ingleside and his leadership development programs for your business, individually, for yourself. If you need some accountability, and support the young man. So we started out the show, folks, talking about Lake Charles, Louisiana. And I want to say, first of all, thanks to a whole lot of people who have helped us raise a lot of money so far. Then we have people that have given online, and we have some people that have given offline. Some people came right to my house and brought me a check. I want to thank every one of those people. But I want you to know, folks, we're not done yet. We still have a ways to go. The devastation in Lake Charles, Louisiana, it's just indescribable, folks. And I'm asking you to reach inside of your heart, touch your inner being, and say, I want to help make a difference with people who want to make a difference at a time when it makes a difference. And right now, folks, is the time. No mass movement ever started with the mass. It started with one person, and then it grew. I'm asking you to come and join us and be a part of that mass. I'm asking you, whether it's $1 or it's a whole lot more dollars. We just need your help. The folks in Lake Charles really, really need your help. And I want to tell you, thank you again for tuning in tonight. So I want you to understand, tomorrow night, I'll be here at 5:30. Mr. Ray Lee from Florida will be our guest. And then tomorrow at 6:30 Central Time, we will be on, I won't be, Damian actually will be on the Empowered Living Network. I'll be just like you tomorrow. I'll be tuning in and watching, but they have a phenomenal interview that they've done today, that they did today. So tune in to the Empowered Living Network to listen to the Black Entrepreneurs Institute. And then I want you to folks to realize and know that on Thursday, I'll be on my show on the IBGR network at 4 p.m. Central Time, talking leadership with Cedrick again. And here's the last thing I'm going to tell you, folks. If you're not at the table, you're on the menu. Never, ever be on the menu. Good night, folks.